So, ladies and gentlemen, you are all welcome. So, in this class, we are going to look at the concept of general metabolism. So, without wasting much of our time, let me start with the concept of metabolism. What is metabolism? Metabolism is a sum total of all biochemical reactions that are taking place in our body, and this metabolism is very important in our body. So generally, there are millions of reactions that are taking place in our body, and these reactions that are taking place in our body are responsible for controlling each and every physiological processes that are taking place in our body. So we have many of them, and we also have the different classification of the metabolism itself. So without wasting much of my time, I'm now going to share my slides so that at least we'll start from there. So um, I hope from here you can see my slides. So I hope you can all see the slides. So as I said, the today's class is actually about metabolism. So what is metabolism? So metabolism refers to a chemical processes that occur within living organisms. So generally in humans or in every living organisms, there are a lot of biochemical processes that are taking place in our body. So when you sum all these biochemical processes that are taking place in our body, we call that metabolism. We survive because there are a number of reactions that are taking place in our body. We respire, we digest, we respond to stimulus because of the reactions that are taking place in our body. So generally in our body, as I said, there are millions and trillions of reactions that are taking place in our body. So therefore, without wasting much of our time, we are going to see how this metabolism is going to look, how it's going to be. So as I said, we survive because there are metabolism that are taking place in our body. Okay, you are welcome, Gloria or Luca. So I know that I have already made the general description of this metabolism, especially for those of you that are in my YouTube channel. So now, as I said, there are millions of reactions that are taking place in our body, and that is why we are surviving. Our normal health, we are healthy because of our reactions are also healthy, or they are taking place without any problems and any other alteration. And that is why uh, we call that as metabolism. So now, this metabolism, it involves the conversion of foods into energy and the building blocks that are necessary for growth and maintenance. So generally in our body, first, how is this metabolism start? It usually starts from foods. So you know that we survive because we take foods. And how or what that foods generate in our body that make us to survive, grow, and also develop healthy. So we are now going to look at it. So generally, when we take food product like carbohydrates, so the carbohydrate or the proteins will be digested. After digestion, then there is absorption. And then after absorption, then there is metabolism. So metabolism usually take place in the body after digestion and then absorption. And at the end of this metabolism, we are expecting two important things. Number one, number one, energy is needed. And we also need a building blocks, that is some biomolecules that can be important in our growth and maintenance. Elephant, you are welcome. Oligbo. So why do we have to undergo metabolism? Why do we need metabolism in our body? We need metabolism because number one, Metabolism generate energy in our body. And second, metabolism produce a small molecules that are important to build other important macromolecules that are important for our growth and maintenance. Then in addition, this metabolism is divided into two. Like as we can see clearly here, when we have food product, so the food product will be digested. So after the digestion, then there is going to be catabolism, because like if we digest carbohydrate, we are going to get glucose. If we digest proteins, we are going to get amino acid. If we digest lipid, we are going to have fatty acid and glycerol. So now look at, let's say now you have food. So after you digest it, and then at the end you have the monomers. Remember we did biochem 241. So at the end we have monomers. So that monomers will be catabolized. Like for example, glucose will be catabolized. So it will break down to produce another smaller molecules. Like for example, the first metabolic pathways that take place in our body is the digestion of carbohydrate. So therefore, is the metabolism of glucose. So glucose will be metabolized to generate pyruvate. So a pyruvate is a smaller molecule. So ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to say something very clear here. Whenever there is a catabolic process, energy is generated. So catabolic process is the energy generating process. So whenever there is metabolism like glycolysis, citric acid cycle, lipolysis, proteolysis, energy is generated. So that is what actually happened in catabolism. And then in anabolism, which is another type of metabolism, energy is consumed. So anabolic process is the energy consuming process. So usually at the end of anabolism, we build a complex molecules which subsequently absorb energy. So in the process of synthesis of smaller molecules into larger one, energy is consumed. So that is what happened in anabolism. So in anabolism, you actually use a smaller molecules to generate a larger one, and in the process, energy is consumed. That is the most important thing. So and then in addition, apart from catabolism and anabolism, we also have amphibolism. So what is amphibolism? Amphibolism is when you have catabolism and anabolism taking place simultaneously. So when you have this catabolism and anabolism taking place simultaneously in a cell, that is what you call amphibolism. So ladies and gentlemen, very importantly, what I want to say here is that first, I said metabolism. So, metabolism is the process or is the sum of all biochemical reactions or all the biochemical processes that are taking place in our body is called metabolism. And what are those reactions? Those reactions include glycolysis, cellular respiration. So, we move because of these reactions. We eat because of these reactions. We think because of this reaction. And then we further also said that this metabolism is divided into two, catabolism and anabolism. And in the process of catabolism, larger molecules are break down to produce smaller one. And in the process, energy is generated. While anabolism is when a smaller molecules join together to produce a larger one. That is what we call anabolism, and energy is usually consumed in the process. So, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to say this. For those of you that didn't join the YouTube membership, please try to join. Try to join the YouTube membership, and that is why some of you cannot even write on the chat box. So now, so we have three types of metabolism: anabolism, catabolism, and amphibolism. So let's now look at the catabolism itself. Let's look at it. So as we can see that catabolism is the process of breaking down molecules to release energy. So if you can now see here from the catabolism, you see you have a larger molecules here. So the larger molecules here is being breaking down to produce smaller molecules. That is what we have here. Ina ainihin department ɗinmu. Na ce ina ainihin department ɗinmu. So that is actually what you call catabolism. So when a larger molecules are breaking down to generate a smaller molecules, then that is what described as catabolism, and energy is generated. And then if you now look at the anabolic process, look at the anabolism. In the case of anabolisms, you realize that here you have a smaller molecules which actually joined together in the presence or with the input of energy. So energy is added. So therefore, a large molecules is generated in the process. So this is what you call catabolism. Catabolism, larger molecules are break down to generate smaller one, and this catabolic process it involves the degradation of complex substance into smaller ones, such as the breaking down of glucose during cellular respiration. Like, for example, during cellular respiration, what actually happened in cellular respiration is, like, for example, when you have glucose usually break down to produce carbon dioxide and water plus energy. So it's a complex process where glucose as a large molecules break down to generate smaller molecules with the release of energy. So this energy that actually release in the body, we have been talking about energy. So the energy that release or that is stored in these molecules, like ATP, which cells use to perform various functions. So see, as the metabolism takes place like catabolism, large molecules break down to generate energy. So in the process, ATP is generated, and it's this ATP that our cells perform various functions, like homeostasis is maintained due to this energy that is generated. The walk, we talk because of this energy. So our cells, the growth, maintenance, and the survival of each and every cells is depend on the ATP. And whenever we feel weak, is because we have problem with our ATP. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what you need to understand about catabolism. So then the next thing, okay, good evening, Jibiro, you are welcome. So now that is for the catabolism. So let's look at the anabolism. So in anabolism, as we said, is the process of synthesizing complex molecule from smaller ones. So in anabolism, you have smaller molecules, and these smaller molecules, it can be like pyruvate or amino acid to generate proteins as a complex. So in the process of anabolism, it requires energy. So it needs ATP before smaller molecules combine to produce a larger one, to produce a giant molecules, then you need energy as a driver. So the driving force, which is the energy that is produced during catabolism, is the energy that is utilized by the smaller molecules to generate larger one. So anabolism is crucial for growth, repair, and maintenance of body tissues. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, get this point and jot it down. Why do we need anabolism? We need anabolism because number one, we need to grow. When there is any damage in our body, then we need repair. And then we need to maintain also our body tissues. So anabolism is required because we need to grow. We need our tissues to repair and our body to be maintained. So that is why anabolism is important, ladies and gentlemen. So then the next thing now is the enzymes. What is the role of enzymes in metabolism? So enzymes are biological catalysts that speed off metabolic reactions. So generally, some of these biochemical reactions or the reactions that are taking place in our body, they took time before they occur because of the activation energy. What is activation energy? Activation energy is the energy required, or is an energy that need to be overcome before the reaction takes place. So that is why between reacting particles must collide head to head in order to provide sufficient energy to overcome activation energy. So that is why if you can look at the reaction profile diagram here, you can see that we have the reaction profile diagram here. We can see red color here and we can see black color. So it means that what this enzyme does is actually speed up the reaction. And how does it actually speed the rate of the reaction? Is by lowering activation energy. So the activation energy will be lower. So that is why here we have reactants, which will be converted into products. So before the reactant converted into products, they need to overcome the activation energy. So that is what enzyme does. It lower the activation energy so that the reactant particles can easily convert it into products. So enzymes lower the activation energy required for reaction to occur, making metabolism efficient. So each enzyme is specific to a particular reaction or types of substrate, ensuring in ensuring precision in metabolic pathways. So the enzymes are not just working like that. The enzymes are not just working like that. Enzymes work with their substrate. So the enzymes are specific. So each enzyme is responsible for catalyzing its own specific substrate to product. The enzymes that act on A cannot act on B, and the enzymes that act on B cannot act on A or C. So the enzymes are generally specific. So each enzyme is catalyzing a specific type of reaction or type of substrate. And this is what shows that in enzymatic pathways or in metabolic pathways, there is precision. There is high precision. So then the next thing after enzymes in metabolism is metabolic pathways. So what are the metabolic pathways? So metabolic pathways are series of chemical reaction that convert substrate into products. So actually in metabolic pathways, it's like it is a series of the reaction in which one substrate can be converted into products, and the product of one enzyme can serve as a substrate for the next reaction. Like in glycolysis, we have 10 reactions. So what happened in that 10 reactions? First, if A is converted into B by enzymes 1, then the B, which is the product of enzymes 1, will be converted into C using another enzymes, let's say enzymes 2. And then the product of enzymes 2, which is C, will also serve as a substrate that will be converted with enzymes 3 to D. So this is how enzymes convert this is how enzymes participate in metabolic pathways. So metabolic pathways is a series of reactions. It's not one reaction. It is a series of reactions where substrates are converted into products, and then products of one enzymes will now serve as a substrate for another enzymes. And these metabolic pathways are divided into three. The metabolic pathways can be linear. Like for example, if you look at glycolysis, it's linear, it's straight. It can be branched. You can see some metabolic pathways forming branch. So some metabolic pathways are branch, while some metabolic pathways are cyclic, like in citric acid cycle. So ladies and gentlemen, get this point. We have three types of metabolism. We have three types of metabolic pathways. We have three types of metabolic, sorry, four types of metabolic pathways. Number one, we have linear metabolic pathway, example, glycolysis. We have branched metabolic pathway, examples of branched metabolic pathway. We have fatty acids biosynthesis. We have cyclic pathway, and examples of cyclic pathway, we have citric acid cycle, we have urea cycle. These are the examples of pathways. We also have spiral metabolic pathways like lipid biosynthesis. So this is actually different types of metabolic pathways. So you see, we have metabolism, and we said metabolism is the sum total of all biochemical reactions that are taking place in our body. One. And then second, we said that we have different types of metabolism. We have catabolism, we have anabolism, and we have amphibolism. And then we now talk about the different metabolic pathways, which actually define a series of reactions. And this metabolic pathways is also of four types. We have linear, branch, cyclic, and spiral. So understanding these pathways is crucial. Is crucial. Yau Ibrahim, da Allah ka zo kawai ka ajiye min kin, ina class ne, ina lecture ne online, so zan buɗe office kawai in ka ajiye sai ka tafi. Gashi zan buɗe office ɗin ka shigo. So metabolic pathway. So please give me 1 minute. Sorry. Okay, sorry. So as I'm saying, so that is what we call metabolism, or sorry, metabolic pathways. So now, understanding these pathways is crucial for comprehending how drugs and toxins affect metabolism. So ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you one thing very, very important. Do you know that some of the toxins that we are taking, they are directly affecting our pathways, and that is why it affects our health status? For example, now, glycolysis is the primary metabolic pathways that take place in our body where pyruvate is generated, ATP is generated. Glycolysis involves 10 steps of the reaction. So assuming now you get any chemical substances that can inhibit or that can stop the activity of any of the enzymes of glycolysis, pyruvate will not be generated. Energy will not be generated. And if that happened, what next? It means that definitely there will be no generation of ATP and no generation of pyruvate, and the whole system will be shut down. So that is what some of these toxins are doing. And some of the drugs that we are taking is because the enzymes or one pathway is producing a particular product that is not needed, or even if it is needed, but it's generated, the products are produced or are generated more than the body demand. So that is why sometimes we need some of the drugs so that to actually control our metabolism. So ladies and gentlemen, you should get this, that this metabolism that we are saying is what makes us the way we are. We produce adrenaline, and that is why some people easily get anger than others, is because the reactions that are taking place to generate the adrenaline in our body differ from one another. So if you can now block or stop the pathway that is involved in the synthesis of the adrenaline, it means that our adrenaline level will be low. So, ladies and gentlemen, we should understand this. It's very clear. So, therefore, some of the drugs that are generated or that we discovered or that we produce in the pharmaceutical industry, there are enzymes inhibitor or enzymes activator by facilitating or inhibiting pathways. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are understanding. Are you following? Are you following? If you are following, please write on the comment section. Are you following? Okay, thank you. So now the next thing is energy balance. What is energy balance? Energy balance is the relationship between energy intake and energy expenditure. How much our body or how much of the ATP our body generated. So how much of the energy do we generate in our body and how many of the energy are utilized? So that is the energy balance. So whatever taking place in our body, even the homeostasis that we are talking about, that is the regulation of the internal environment. We should understand that one, if there is any problem in some of the processes or biological processes that are taking place in our body, the first thing that we need to challenge ourselves or to ask ourselves is the issue of the energy balance. One, do we produce the exact amount of energy that our body needs? So the amount of the energy generated should be always equal to the energy expenditure. That is how we maintain balance. But by the time your body is in need of high amount of energy and your body is not producing that desired amount of energy, so there is a problem, meaning that there is no energy balance. Meaning that there is no energy balance. Or maybe you are producing more energy that our body needs. It's also a waste. So we don't need that in our body. We don't need that in our body. So now a positive energy balance leads to weight gain. So meaning that if you are producing energy more than the amount of energy that is needed by our body, so it leads to weight gain. And that is why we develop obesity. And whenever there is obesity, it means that there is a high chances that we are going to develop cardiovascular disease, because obesity is linked with diabetes, is linked with cardiovascular disease. So we should understand that uh, energy should be maintained and the balance should also be maintained. So while a negative balance results in weight loss, so meaning that if the amount of energy we utilize in our body is not up to the amount of energy that are produced in our body, so there will be weight loss. There will be weight loss. So, ladies and gentlemen, with this, I wanted you to understand that the concept of metabolism is very, very important in the area of medicine, nursing, and pharmacy. So, maintaining energy balance is essential for our overall health. Some of them are complaining that they are having issues with joining. So, I don't know the problem. I just saw a message on the WhatsApp group. So you see from here, you can see that energy balance is important or is essential for our overall health. We are healthy because we maintain energy balance. We are healthy because our energy produce exact the amount of energy that we are needed. So the maintenance of energy balance is important for our overall health and metabolic function. So then now energy balance. So what are the factors that affect our metabolism? So ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to say something here. Actually, this aspect that I'm just taking you now is not in your material. If you check your courseware, it just started with glycolysis, and it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be. You need first to understand the concept of metabolism itself. Assalamu alaikum. Malam. Umar Isa, Department of Biochemistry. Ka asa. So it's not in your material, but at least you need to understand. This is like a foundation. We are laying foundation. So it's like I'm laying foundation on the aspect of the metabolism. So once you are able to understand first the definition of metabolism, why do we need metabolism? Then types of metabolism, catabolism, anabolism, and amphibolism. How are they differ from one another? How enzymes work to facilitate the biochemical reactions that are taking place in the metabolism. That is by lowering activation. So you activation in it, so you understand that. Then what are the different types of metabolic pathways? You need to also understand that. So then what are the factors that affect our metabolism? So metabolism can be influenced. There are so many factors that affect our metabolism. Number one, our age. You don't expect the metabolism in growing child, adult, and old individual to be the same. So age affects our metabolism. Sex also. The types of metabolism that is taking place in men and women are not the same. They are not the same. And also the body composition. So first, ladies and gentlemen, what are those factors that affect our metabolism? Number one, age. Number two, sex. The number three, body composition. Hormones also affect our metabolism, such as insulin and thyroid hormones. They play significant roles in regulating our metabolic processes. I think some of them, I think they are complaining that they can't join the class, so I don't know the problem. What do you think should be the problem? Class. So now, humans, sorry, yeah, this metabolism that we are taking place, sometimes they are upregulated and unregulated, and it depends on the body demand. There are some times that your body is in need of energy, and there are times that your body is not in need of energy. So what do you do at that point? So there are factors that affect that. Like for example, actually, whenever you see that the insulin level goes high, it means that there is energy demand. So there is a need for the glucose transport from blood to other cells and then break down through glycolysis to generate energy. So hormones are playing a significant role in regulating metabolic process. When we said regulation of metabolic process, it means control on and off. So there are apart from age, sex, body composition, hormones, lifestyle choices, including diet, physical activity, they have great impact in our metabolic rates. So you should understand that. That is why sometimes I always encourage you. Maybe those that wasn't able to join the meeting, possibly maybe they didn't join the YouTube membership. I don't know the problem. Just to pay 750 naira per month. Don't look at what you are going to feel. Always think of what you are going to learn. That is the most important thing. Diet, physical activities, hormones, age, sex, and body composition are the factors that affect metabolism. So then the next thing after this, then what next? Then metabolic disorders. So when you said metabolic disorders, ladies and gentlemen, sometime if there is any problem, defect in one gene, or one protein, or one enzymes, it can lead to metabolic disorders. So what is metabolic disorders? Metabolic disorders occur when metabolism is disrupted. So whenever metabolism is disrupted, and disruption of metabolism can occur as a result of many other factors, like number one, a gene mutation that is responsible for causing a particular enzymes for that specific pathways, it can also affect it. So whenever metabolism is disrupted, it leads to health issues. It leads to health issues. So that is why we need to understand that metabolic disorders are usually occur when there is disruption in metabolism. So examples of these metabolic disorders, we have diabetes, obesity, metabolic syndromes, which can have serious consequences. Abaka ya kai?
Doctor, I see. Yeah, maganar refreshing service.
Ana wajen Mukhtar. Kamar magana. So now, okay, someone, Oligbo Oyenyechi, please sir, can I get access to other lectures to missed I have missed so far, and where can I get it? All the lectures, especially if you are a member, the lecture for physiology, the lecture for microbiology, and the lecture for this biochemistry, they are all on my YouTube channel. And sometimes if you want to get these lectures directly, when you go to my YouTube channel, go to playlists. When you go for playlist for for physiology, you will see physiology. So click on that. You will see all the videos on physiology. Then you watch them. And if you are looking for, let's say, microbiology, you go to Play Store. You will see. Sorry, you will go to playlist. You will see uh, microbiology. You search. You will see microbiology. Then you click there. All the videos are there. If it is for metabolism, you also go to playlist, you will see general metabolism, click on there and you will see all the videos. So it's simple. So provided that you are a member to the YouTube, you can have access to all videos and they are always there. So early detection and management of these disorders are crucial for preventing complications. So whenever there is, and whenever, okay, someone, sir, is this lecture being recorded? Can we have access to it later? Yes, of course. That is very interesting thing with the YouTube. Always, if we do a video or if we do a lecture, the videos are always deposited. They are always there on the YouTube channel. So you see, what I wanted to encourage you here is that is why I told you that we should start the lectures as early as possible. So far for these three courses, I'm telling you, we have covered a lot. We have covered a lot. with the lectures I have on my YouTube channel for these three courses, you will be able to get enough basis of all these courses. So I'm advising you, ladies and gentlemen, to encourage even those that didn't join the YouTube. I don't think 715 naira should be an issue to pay and watch the videos. And one thing that some of you didn't understand, and one thing that some of you fail to understand, even me that I'm doing this video, that I'm doing this lecture, I'm also spending money. I'm not getting them for free. I'm not doing it for free. I buy data. I also do subscription to get some important document and material. Look at how I'm taking my time to make all these PowerPoints. Go through all my lectures. You will see how I'm making PowerPoint. Is it simple to make all those PowerPoint? Look at them. Do you know that before we do this lecture, I have to take my time, go through, get necessary documents, get necessary information before I even make the PowerPoint. So it's not easy. So I don't think to pay 750 naira should be an issue. Or is there anyone that can tell me that you don't have 750 naira? So the lectures are always recorded. So early detection and management of these disorders, that is the metabolic disorders, are always crucial for preventing complications. So it's not only actually metabolic disorders, for any disease, early detection of that disease is always important. It's always important for proper management of the disease complications. So the next thing that we are going to look at, ladies and gentlemen, apart from metabolic disorders, is the role of nutrition in metabolism. So you see, as I said, all this thing that we are doing is just to have a general understanding of what the metabolism is. So nutrition provides the essential substrate for metabolic processes, including macronutrients and micronutrients. So nutrition is, of course, our ability to feed. So it's in nutrition that we can get the essential substrates, which is carbohydrate, proteins, of course. The substrates that are needed for each and every metabolism is macro and micronutrient. What are macronutrients? Macronutrients are the nutrients that are required in large quantity. And examples of them, you can see them clearly here. The nutrient we have, macronutrient, we have carbohydrates, we have proteins and fat are the examples of macronutrient. And then for the micronutrient are the nutrients that are required in small quantity. An example, we have vitamins and minerals. So these are the nutrients that are supplied from nutrition in order to fuel the metabolism. So a balanced diet support optimal metabolic functions and energy levels. And whenever there is a nutritional deficiency, it can lead to impaired metabolism and various health problems. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the role of nutrition in metabolism. So, it's the nutrition that provide the nutrients that are required for the metabolic processes to take place. And then next, then what are the future direction in metabolism? So of the future of metabolic research, the research is essential in evolving, focusing on personalized medicine and health and metabolic health. So if you are able to understand the concept of metabolism of each and every individual, so it is essential to focus in the area of personalized medicine. That is one treatment for one individual. You can have a treatment that is specific to one individual based on the understanding the metabolic profile of that particular individual. So therefore, advances in technology will give us or will allow for better understanding of metabolic pathways at the molecular level. So future studies aim to explore the links between metabolism, genetics, and disease prevention. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for actually attending this of our lecture. And don't forget, I told you that today's lecture is going to be very brief and is actually going to be based on the general introduction of metabolism. So, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we are going to stop, unless if you have questions. The continuation of these lectures, the videos are already in my YouTube channel. So after watching or after this lecture, the next video that you are going to watch is glycolysis. And don't forget that all this thing that we have even done now is revision, because I already have some videos that also explain this, although there are some additional information here. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Please, do you have any question before we proceed? Please, any question? And don't forget also, I told you that there is also a lecture on neurons, which is going to start by 8:30. So the video is already uploaded. So what you are going to do, the lecture is starting by 8:30, and I think the lecture is just it's just a 30-minute lecture. So I would advise you to go and click on notify me, that is notify me when 8:30. So you can just click on lecture so that it will keep you awaiting. So once the lecture is commencing, then it will now notify you and then you will go and watch it. For physiology, I think I have covered a lot of lectures. I have covered a lot of lectures. Please, if you didn't join, try to join and go and watch all those lectures. Let me tell you, even me, that lecture, I like them. I like those lectures. I like them. Okay, Grace is asking, sir, I should actually throw more light on the roles of nutrition in metabolism. You see, nutrition is our ability to actually feed to get enough nutrients. So nutrients can be micro and the macronutrient. So if there is a supply of proper nutrient in our body, it means that there is going to be an effective metabolism. So the nutrition is actually the aspect of biochemistry that supply the nutrient, that is the substrate that are needed for the metabolism to take place. So the fuel that is needed, the fuel like a car. Can you drive a car without fuel? You cannot. So the fuel needed for metabolism is supplied by nutrition. And what are those fuel? The fuel are macronutrient and micronutrients. So these are the fuel that are needed for metabolism to take place. So that is the role of nutrition in metabolism. And whenever there is deficiency of some of these nutrients, it means that there will be an impaired metabolism, meaning that there will be a problem with metabolism and also other various health problems. Okay, Oligbo is asking questions, sir. How can hormones affect metabolism? There are hormones that are even the one that on one particular pathway and off another particular pathway. Like number one, if insulin level is high, whenever insulin level is high, it means that there is an energy demand in the body. Energy is needed. So therefore, glycolysis, citric acid cycle, and a lot of energy generating pathways will be activated. And whenever insulin level go down, glucagon level go high, it means that there is no need of energy at that point. Rather, you need to you need to undergo gluconeogenesis. So gluconeogenesis will be on. What is gluconeogenesis? Gluconeogenesis is a synthesis of glucose from non-carbohydrate material. while glycolysis breaking down of glucose. So you see, it's two opposing things. Glycolysis breaking down of glucose. Glycogenolysis means the synthesis. Means what? The synthesis of glucose. So whenever glucagon is high, so synthesis of glucose is required. And whenever insulin is high, then the breaking down of glucose is needed. And these two hormones cannot be generated at the same time. They cannot be actually go high at the same time. So it's two opposing hormones. If one is high, then the other one will be low. So oligbo, that is how hormones affect metabolism. Then body composition. You see, I am man. The composition of my body and the composition of women are not the same. So therefore, we don't expect the same rate of metabolism. So body composition also affects the metabolic processes that are taking place in our body. So, ladies and gentlemen, any other question? Any other question, please? Please, is there any question before we proceed? Sorry, before we end the lecture? So, as I said, this is the end of the lecture. So, if there is no any question, you can ask. And for those of you that didn't join this YouTube community, please, I'm encouraging you to try to join. You see, many have joined, many have failed to join. So as you are wasting time, not joining, you are just wasting your time. You are just wasting your time. That is what I can say here. So please, if you know that you didn't join, try to join. It's not expensive. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, thank you very much for the lecture. Okay, Monica Benhari, thank you very much too. Thank you too. So any other question? Okay, Amando, thank you. Dare, thank you too. Then Olegbo, thank you too. So thank you very much. We are going to end it. And very soon, I think we'll also have time to start actually going through past question paper. We are going to start answering past question paper. And the answering of the question papers will be based on the topic we treated. So I'm not going to answer questions outside what we have not taught. So that's how we are going to be doing it. Maybe after we covered some certain lectures on metabolism, then we'll get past question paper and answer them. Like for example, now I have covered with the whole of metabolism. I covered the metabolism of I covered glycolysis, regulation of glycolysis and cancer, glycolysis and uh, glycolysis and cancer, glycolysis and hemolytic anemia, regulation in glycolysis. So we are done with the glycolysis. We are done with the glycolysis, and I think everything that you need to understand in glycolysis we have already covered it, and the video are there on my YouTube channel. Please endeavor to watch them. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Is there any issues? Is there any problem? If there is, please raise it now so that at least let's know what we are going to do. And if there is none, then we are going to end the lecture. Okay, please, who can tell me what are the three types of metabolic pathways? Who can give me three types of metabolic pathways? No problem, Oligpo. I'm just trying to make the things easy for you, so that is why I'm doing all this. So, thank you very much and bye bye. So, see you next time.